Hey, it's Joseph for Zenny62. So, in recent weeks, and more specifically in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, as Donald Trump has resurfaced from his COVID-19 infection and went back out and started rallying to massless crowds again, um, there has been two prominent cease and desist orders that have been violated, and currently, President Donald Trump and his campaign are ignoring the cease and desist orders. And those orders came from the Village People as well as John Fogerty. Now, obviously, those are complete opposite spectrums in the music world. But, the statements that were released by both parties have indicated their specific reasons as to why they don't want their music being used in Trump rallies. And let's take a quick look at them now, and we'll discuss them. So the first one was issued by Village People member Victor Willis, and it was a post on Facebook titled "Village People member asked Trump to stop using their disco hits." Now, as I quote Victor Willis, it's on your screen, and it reads, "I ask that you no longer use any of my music at your rallies, especially YMCA and Macho Man. Sorry, but I no longer can look the other way." And so, obviously, that has been sent and ignored, because even after this was sent by Victor Willis and members of the Village People, Trump continues to use their music. And of course, the irony of him using Village People songs, especially Macho Man, is that it's considered an anthem in the gay community. And as many of you may or may not know, the Village People are homosexuals that formed a group in the 70s, and obviously supporting gay rights. And they feel offended that Donald Trump would use their music, considering all the administrative policies against the gay community. And so that leads us to John Fogerty, who was the founder of Creedence Clearwater Revival. Now, John Fogerty, who was also a veteran that was drafted in the Vietnam War, wrote this as a anti-Vietnam War protest song called "Fortunate Son." Now, "Fortunate Son," as he stated in this interview, is about the rich avoiding the draft and not paying taxes. So he said he found it ironic that Donald Trump uses this song in his rallies, and that he's oblivious to the fact that he doesn't even know what the song represents. And he has sent a cease and desist letter, to the Donald Trump campaign, and they are refusing to obey it. And let's take a look at that cease and desist. The cease and desist letter reads, "I object to the president using my song, Fortunate Son, in any way for his campaign. He is using my words and my voice to portray a message that I do not endorse. Therefore, I'm issuing a cease and desist order. I wrote this song because as a veteran, I was disgusted that some people were allowed to be excluded from the draft." The fact that Mr. Trump also fans the flames of hatred, racism, and fear while rewriting recent history is even more reason to be troubled by his use of my song. So, as you can see, John Fogerty has issued quite a very deliberate and stern warning to the Trump campaign, and he's very upset and disturbed by them continuing to ignore his cease and desist order. And he's even made claims that he sent several cease and desist orders, and he feels like it's Groundhog Day, because day after day he keeps sending the letter through his representatives, and they continue to ignore So the fact that they continue to ignore the letter, the question was posed to Mr. Fogerty whether or not he would pursue action in court. He would not say whether he would or wouldn't, but based upon his anger, and he feels a sense of duty to speak his voice, I will say that I wouldn't be surprised if John Fogerty pursues this in court. And so time will tell, and keep it here on Zenny62, and don't forget to like and subscribe. So it would be interesting to see if John Fogerty will pursue further action. Um, my personal take on this is that why would you want to use music from anybody who opposes you and what you represent? You know, I mean, that just wouldn't fly in my eyes. I don't know why anybody would want to continue using music that you have been asked not to use, unless you just want to defy them and say, hey, I can do whatever I want anytime I want, and I'm just not going to listen to you. So, and that's the problem that a lot of these people have, is that the people are not being listened to. And that's a clear indication that even as simple as, please don't use my songs because I don't, my songs don't represent or you don't represent what my song was supposed to be about, that should be the end of it. Again, I will reiterate, Fortunate Son song was a protest song, and specifically a protest song against the Vietnam War. John Fogerty was drafted, didn't want to go, but he felt a sense of duty. He didn't back down from it, even though he was considered, quote unquote, a hippie liberal. He still went to war, and his argument was the one person that didn't go was the conservative Republican who dodged the draft 5 times. Donald Trump avoided the draft 5 times. And so that's the premise that we have here. And then what we also have is that there was another musician a month ago that also sent a cease and desist order, and that was Bruce Springsteen. he didn't want his song Born in the USA to be used at a Trump rally. So we'll see more of this maybe as it develops. Keep it here on Zenny62, and don't forget to like and subscribe.